There was an African summit in Uganda recently, and Uganda President Yoweri Museveni subjected Western countries to a severe criticism. The reason is that the Western countries are actually stealing from the Black continent drinking top-class coffee grown at a low price. According to Museveni, a few years ago, the world demand for coffee was 70.8 million tons. Now it has reached 96 million tons. It will seem that this trend is beneficial for coffee-producing countries like Uganda. However, of the global coffee value of $460 billion, producing countries receive only $25 billion, and Africa accounts for $2.4 billion, of which Uganda receives only a third. Let's watch this video. I'll be back.
The coffee value in the world, 460 billion. But all the coffee growing countries of the world, they share only $25 billion. And Africa, we who are here, we get only US dollars 2.4 billion. $2.4 billion out of a business of $460 billion. Uganda takes $845 million of this. Of the 2.4 billion, Uganda takes more than 1/3 because of the volumes we produce here. Now, this is part of the iniquities of the present global parasitic system. The present global system is parasitic. A parasite is the one who takes from you and doesn't give back to you. We call that a parasite. So this system is parasitic. In the last 60 years, I have been involved in the struggle against this modern slavery for Africa. The curse of producing raw materials for cleverer people in the world to add value to those raw materials and get much more value from them. $40. This is where there is massive hemorrhage of money from the global south to the global north. It is not only the loss of money per kilo, it is also the loss of jobs. Because these are jobs. The one who roasts is a job. The one who grinds is a job. The one who packages is a job. All those jobs are exported. If you take the whole, now this is in one area of coffee, but if you take the whole spectrum of raw materials from agriculture, from minerals, from forest products, etc., the loss to Africa is massive.
The loss to Africa is massive, says the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni. This thing, let me just make it quick. Africa, we have been complaining about how we give our raw materials to the Western countries, which we were supposed to process it in Africa. Why do we always carry our raw materials, send it to Western countries, then they go process it and bring it back to us? I don't get it. And the sad thing is, when they bring it, we buy it very expensive. We can't even afford it. When they go and process our own raw materials, then it becomes very expensive and it ends up in the hands of only rich people. So it's about time Africans, we try to build refined industries. We try to build processing industries, processing factories, so that we process all our raw materials in Africa. And if we start processing our raw materials in Africa, do you know all this complaint about jobs? If you build factories processing coffee, factories processing cocoa, factories processing gold, factories processing everything, like all the uraniums, the diamonds, if we are going to build factories to process our own raw materials, do you know employment it will create in Africa here? Do you know it won't allow unemployed youth to think of running away from the country to go and seek for greener pasture in other countries? If we are going to always send our raw materials to the outside world, to the Western countries, for them to process it and come and sell it back to us in a high price, we are not going to make any progress. We are going to be underdeveloped. Our youth are going to be jobless and our youth are going to be hopeless. It's about time. Africa, I think few years ago, Ghana and Ivory Coast decided to partner and approach chocolate companies of how they are cheating the cocoa producers, the cocoa producing countries in Africa. Ghana partnered with Ivory Coast, and after the partnership, they were able to come out with some solutions, come out with some increase of money which benefited the countries. But even that one was not enough. We can't keep sending our raw materials. Go agreement with them, let them establish factories in the country for them to process so that people can also get jobs. The African indigenes can also get jobs so that we are not going to, we don't have to run to your country before we can make it in life, or we can get jobs. You get it? So it's about time African leaders sit up and implement policies that will help, that will cut all this. We have been complaining for far too long. That's something that we have been complaining for far too long. I remember Ghana, when Ghana was not drilling oil, we were having oil refinery. Tema oil refinery was perfectly working, going to buy crude, and they go and buy crude and come and refine it at Tema. But exactly, we started drilling the oil refinery decided to collapse just because someone wanted that refining the product at the Western country was going to be someone's business. It was going to be someone's business. So sometimes I think they intentionally collapse the country, collapse the factories so that they can make profit out of refining the oil. Sometimes we are doing our own self. We are all our woes, all our difficult life, whatever we are facing, sometimes it comes from our own people. The bad decision, the greediness, the selfishness that most of our leaders takes bring us all these things we see in Africa, all this difficult lifestyle we see in Africa, all this poverty we see in Africa. So it's about time we refined and we process our own raw materials, then we sell it to whoever is ready to buy. We shouldn't cheapen ourselves. We shouldn't always be sending our raw materials out there for very cheap price and for them to refine and bring it to us to buy it in a high price. That's something that is really bringing Africa down, and we have to think about that. Please, if this is the first time visiting this channel, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification button so that anytime I upload any content, you will be notified. Thanks for watching.